Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shed some light now on Navy swimming and diving exploits with one of the top divers in the Patriot League, Bradley Buchter. And for you, you got a dad, you got a sister that all enjoy diving at the collegiate level. What got you into diving yourself?
Yeah, just personally my family. So my dad was always big in college, and then he put me and my sister in it at a very young age, and then kind of took off. Uh, we got good at it, kept going, and then his passion quickly became ours.
When when you get onto the board for the first time, I mean, everybody dives off the side of the pool. Did you have any hesitations about that, or was it something that you just gravitated to right away and found that hey, no fear, let's go jump in the water?
It's a very mental sport. It's really scary every time you get up there, and you kind of just get used to overcoming that fear every time.
For you now, obviously as a competitor, you've had a lot of success here early in your career at Navy. How do you balance that with the work ethic that you all have down there in that building every day? The work ethic and the expectations are, I mean, obviously very high each and every day for the work that you put in. How do you balance all of that?
I definitely rely on my teammates. Like, I go in and it's always good seeing teammates and going in. It's like a really fun environment, and you can kind of leave everything from academics and everything behind as soon as you walk in the pool and kind of just focus on diving, focus on being there.
For you, and obviously the expectations in that room, as you have started now to really set the pace in the Patriot League, people are chasing you. Do you feel any extra pressure, or is it just a case of every time you step up there, this dive, this focus, and let's get the best dive in here that we possibly can?
Yeah, I just try to really focus on myself and kind of block out everything else and really try to focus on um, getting better every time. So improving my performance from the last time. I try not to focus on kind of all the outside distractions.
I've asked a lot of the other swimmers we've talked to, what is it like to perform in a sport where you could do your personal best and your very best that day, but there could be somebody that's better because you can't control how that person performs. You can only control how you perform that day.
Um, yeah, it's kind of tough to focus on that mentally, and that comes back to the mental aspect of the sport. And I think it's just something that you have to go in and just try your best and leave the pool every day, knowing that you tried your hardest, regardless if you won or lost.
Is there anything that you do specifically or separately from the actual diving for the mental training part of it? I mean, is that any part of your regimen in terms of leading up to what you do?
Yeah, personally, I like to visualize a lot. I visualize a lot of my dives and focus even when I'm outside of the pool.
Any special competitions, or was there always a friendly competition with you and your sister growing up in terms of diving?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and my sister always kind of fought, but it was a healthy competition. We always went to the pool extra, at our community pool, even outside normal practices, and we had a good time, going back and forth.
See her performing at Virginia Tech and to be able to achieve obviously Division I level as you have. Y'all able to share in that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good time. We come home. It's something my family loves. It's a nice thing for us to get together, talk about. My parents like to go to her meets, I go to mine, and then we cross over a lot of meets, so I get to see her at a few meets every year, and that's a lot of fun to see her.
Now your mom was a gymnast. Now, how much does she try to get into y'all's mind about choreography and hey, maybe you could put this flip or this twist or something like that into your creativity from a diving standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom was actually my coach as well. Back in high school and even in middle school, both my parents were my coaches. So her gymnastics background correlated well to diving, and she's actually been coaching me and my sister the whole time, along with my dad.
What has that been like to have your parents as a coach? Because I've done it myself with mine, and I've seen other parents where it goes great, and I've seen parents where it doesn't go as great. What was that dynamic like? And in terms of the healthy relationship where it's coach and student, yet it's mom and dad, son and daughter.
Yeah, it was definitely very difficult growing up. Your parents coaching you, and especially as you got to a higher and higher level, it became more and more challenging. But I think my parents did a good job trying to keep family life and diving life separate, even though naturally it has to collide a little bit.
When you had a chance to choose the Naval Academy, knowing what this program has done, certainly the success it's enjoyed dominating its Patriot League foes. What was that like when you realized you were going to come to obviously a very successful program?
It was I was looking for that when I was recruiting here and recruiting at other schools because I wanted to come to a school and I wanted to like be pushed. So like I know like my teammates push me every day, like all of us doing like being like the best in the league, and like it's like a fun environment to come in and be pushed rather than kind of just be at the top all the time.
So much of your sport is individual in the pool and off the diving board, but how much of that team camaraderie uh, does it help all of you during the course? Because, I mean, as you know, each discipline is different,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're swimming the 100, whether you're diving off the 3 meter or whatever. But how does that team dynamic galvanize everybody? Because almost every person we've ever talked to out of that program, that's the one thing they talk about the most, that team camaraderie, where everybody tends to lift everybody up.
Yeah, it's just going in every day and knowing that like everyone's trying to reach their best in the sport, and like it's like a cool environment to be a part of. And it's like sometimes you come in having a bad day from like school and like other stuff, and you can rely on your teammates to kind of build you up and push you through that day and like make you better at the sport.
All right, let's have a little fun here. If you can sit down, King Hall excluded, of course. If you can sit down and have one meal, what's it going to be?
One meal. Um, I'll probably just go for like a big bacon cheeseburger. I'm like a big burger guy.
Nice choice. The Baconator. Wendy's, we need your sponsorship. If you could sit down and have a meal with one person, who would it be?
Um, it's a good question. I'd probably go Jevin Tarantino. So he's a big diver, and he like faced a lot of hardships like in his career where like he like lost all of his dives and faced like a lot of mental struggles. And like I know I personally mentally struggle with the sport, so like it'd be kind of cool to sit down and pick his mind as like an Olympic diver. Where
I
he's
was,
at.
for guys like that, we've seen it at all levels of competition. Has there ever been a time where you've gotten to the end of the board and maybe not necessarily had focus or had a little trepidation? Maybe the first time you did a specific dive that you hadn't done before. Is there ever any nerves up there at the end of that board?
Oh, absolutely. Like I remember the one time I was learning a new dive like at the end of last season, and it took me about like 30 minutes to get it off. And like that's where like the teammates come in like cheering and like know that they're like there for you and kind of like block out that fear and like focus that you're like doing this to make the team better, yourself better, and like the program better.
If there was one place anywhere in the world you could go dive or do a dive, where would it be?
I'd probably go to the London 2012 Olympic pool just because like it's like a really sick pool. It's really cool.
Would you ever try one of the Acapulco cliff dives or anything like that?
I'd probably like jump. I don't know about like I don't know about flipping that high off.
Yeah, no doubt. If not, the United States Naval Academy, where?
I was looking at a few Pennsylvania schools because it's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like Penn State or I liked Cal Berkeley and Missouri too.
Obviously, what do you hope to accomplish? Over the 4 years, and what do you hope to do post graduation?
So 4 years here, trying to graduate with my major, and then diving wise, I'm trying to.
I mean, you set the bar pretty high already. I mean, you won 3 meter championship in the league last year. So I mean, the only place you can go is, right there at that top level. How do you match that?
I'm trying to get Olympic trials, and then I made NCs last year. I'm trying to get
Mm-hmm.
All American,
Right.
so I really focus on that. I've been talking to my coach a lot about that a lot, and really trying to kind of keep that in mind down the road.
Can your dad still get up on the board and do it?
Yeah, he can do some stuff every now and again, but yeah, he's getting up there. He used to dive with me too. Like I think he dove into his 40s at least, doing some big dives still.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Bradley, appreciate the time. Best of luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Bradley Buchter joining us here on the Navy Sports Magazine.